Hello, I'm Matt from ludovox.fr and today I'm going to give you an overview of Solar City. So this game is still a prototype. It's a game for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and it plays for around 30 to 45 minutes. So in this game, you play as an architect, a city architect, and you want to create the best city. So you're going to build buildings which are going to give you money, but that's not your goal. You want to transition the city to a beautiful, lush garden city. You want to have an ecologic city. So to do that, you're going to place buildings onto your player board and you're going to flip them later after benefiting from the buildings. You're going to have 6 buildings every game. Out of 12, you're going to shuffle them and deal 6 at random, so you have some replay value out of it. But you also have some replay value in the special buildings here, which give you special powers. So in this game, you're going to play a certain number of rounds, which depends on the number of players. But the game is basically going to be played by playing player turns and placing buildings onto your board. On your turn, you're going to take one mandatory action, which is basically build a building. So for example, I could build a simple building here. Then I'm going to count the number of buildings that I already had before building. So in this case, 0, pay that cost. So the first building is free. The second building would cost me 1. So I would have to pay, and then I adjust my cursor, my gauge, etc., etc. The second action I can take is flipping a building and making it into a garden. So that works kind of the same way as the building. So I'm going to choose a building, flip it, then pay the cost. The cost is 2 times the number of gardens that I already had. So the first one is free and the second one cost me 2, and so on and so forth. And then I adjust my gauges. So I have a gauge for buildings and a gauge for gardens. When I flip a building into a garden, I'm going to trigger the ability of the garden. So for example, this one allows me to convert for free, and it's going to give me 12 money. So this is really good. Some buildings are going to give you a lot of victory points. Some of them are going to help you with your board. Some are going to help you convert things into other things. You're going to see that in the game. So the third action I can take is building a special building. The special buildings are here. They have a cost of 8. So I'm going to pay 8, for example, to get this one. And then I'm going to collect the money tokens that are beside it, if there are any. And then I'm going to place it on my board. Once I have done my action, I have to activate one of my districts. So how does that work? So let's imagine on my turn I build a shaft here. I'm going to pay 1 money because I had one building. I adjust my cursors and then I need to activate. To activate, I'm going to take an activation token, an activation marker, and I have to activate, if possible, in the row or column that my building is in. So I could activate this, or I could activate column C. I'm probably going to do column C because it allows me to activate the power of every building that is on that column. So in this case, that would give me 3 money. This is a garden, it doesn't count. And this gives me 3 money. So as you notice, buildings are really worthwhile, but gardens do not bring you anything. Once I have done my activation, I'm going to block other people's C column. So I block for them the same column that I've chosen. And it's blocked, it's not activated, right? They don't get the effects of the buildings on their zones. Once I have done that, I pass turn to the next player. And we are going to continue playing until the activation markers of all players are full. This is the end of the round. We're going to refill those, put money where it's supposed to be in buildings that have not been selected, removing activation markers, and change the game round. We're going to play like this until the end of the game is reached after a certain number of rounds, or when a player has put 16 buildings on their board. This also triggers the end game. So in that case, we count the victory points. And the victory points are going to be the victory points that you get when flipping buildings. You're going to get a lot of victory point tokens, plus the number of gardens that you have. One garden equals 1 point, and then you're going to subtract the number of empty spaces on your board and maybe the loans that you have taken during the game. If you cannot pay for a building or something, you're going to take a loan that gives you money and you can buy it back, but if you don't, you're going to get maluses. Basically, that's it. You make the sums of all of these and you're going to get a final score, and the high score wins. So Solo City is a game in which you want to balance the buildings and the gardens, because if you have too many buildings, building more buildings is not good for you, but at the same time you have a strong economy. But you don't have a lot of victory points, so you want to convert them into victory points, and then once you get more and more into converting into victory points, you're going to get less and less money, and it's going to be more and more expensive. That's it. You know almost everything there is to know about this game, so I'm going to let you play, and let's see you on ludovox.fr.